So what I'd like to do now is that was a pretty great exercise. I was going around between the different breakouts, and I saw some really great ideas in there. I hope everyone felt that way. So let's turn it now to breakout 1. Movina, what were the top 2 ideas you had, and give us some strategies?
All right, well, I'm going to share my screen, and we have Ryan from our group is going to do the presenting.
Hey there, my name's Ryan, an addict. So we came up with 2 strategies here. Our first one was to use an LGBTQ subcommittee focused under PR and outreach to strengthen existing resources within treatment centers, homeless shelters, and existing community resources. And our approach to do that would be to identify all LGBTQ resources first, including legal mental health, recovery houses, domestic violence centers, and so on, and then schedule presentations and make literature and media presentations available to them. And so for our second strategy, we have workshops or learning days that can encompass sexual awareness and sensitivities, identity, and behaviors. Our approach to do that would be to create calendar coordination at the area level, creating flyers and inviting speakers and topics to the area level.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, room 2. Who is room 2? I'm spaced. Paul, I think. Were you Paul?
Yep,
okay.
That was me. That was us. I'm going to share my screen. It's not nearly as pretty as the screen that you just saw, but let's see.
Well, don't worry, we won't grade you that heavily. But
you see all the yellow and green highlights here on your screen?
We like yellow and green.
Okay. So one idea was to get information on dating apps like Grindr, because many of the young people are introduced to drug use, or many struggling addicts are introduced to relapse through using dating apps like Grindr. Another idea to go, so besides an ad, could also do like they would have someone who set up an HIV or PrEP specific profile that said, if you have questions about PrEP, ask me, stuff like that. Now the caveat to this is that we had a fair balance of men and women in the room, and this did not apply to any of the women in the room, that this seemed to be more of an issue for gay men who use dating apps, hookup apps, than the women who were present in the room. And so strategies for that would be, again, having a profile, connecting with the company and paying for ad space. Second idea was to make some kind of pamphlet or official NA information about sexual identity, and expand on that for 2 reasons. One, to educate the rest of the NA community that doesn't know about LGBTQ issues, so that they are more aware of the challenges that are faced, and also for LGBTQ people searching for recovery, if there's an SP or an IP or a bulletin, then there's something that's welcoming specifically to them. One of our members on the call was from Finland, and apparently there is one LGBTQ meeting in the entire country of Finland. So the point was made that they need to be able to integrate into mainstream meetings as well if they want to, go to meetings, but they want the mainstream NA culture to be more educated about LGBTQ issues, if that makes sense. And then because we had finished this and had a lot of time left, there was a talk about, the 3rd highest voted one, about getting into LGBTQ focused health services in major metropolitan areas. And then finally, we had an addict from another country who requested that we as a group kind of zoom out and look at this as a global issue, because all but 2 in our room were from the US. And, in his country, it was illegal to be gay up until 6 months ago. You would be put in jail. And so in a resource-rich area like Columbus, Ohio, where we talk about having booths at the Gay Pride Parade, that's not happening in his country, because there's still so much stigma attached to being gay, and that even bringing it up in treatment or at NA meetings, bringing up your sexuality in any way is to stigmatize yourself and to be shunned by the rest of the group. And so an educational pamphlet may help in that sense as well, like an official IP or service pamphlet. And that's what we got. Thanks.
Thanks, Paul. I just want to say that the thing about brainstorming that always blows me away is sometimes people come up with ideas that I had never even previously heard of. Putting ads on Grindr, I have never thought of that, but yet it's you know, and I know that's for the men, but yet if there's a women equivalent of that, it really it's something I never heard of before. So okay, let's hear group 3. That was Angel, I think. I don't know.
Great. So our group, we came up with 3 ideas. We had a tie. Our first one was to actively seek to do panels at treatment centers. And then our second idea was to organize regular queer meetings virtually. And our third is to have education in regards to trans people inclusion, such as having a learning day, and to discuss topics such as appropriate pronouns. Some of the tools and strategies that we came up with was at the area level to identify and include LGBTQ plus speakers on the panels, so that then, you know, those at the treatment center can identify and relate to what is being shared during the panel. Also, if there are LGBTQ plus treatment centers, to get H&I more involved, to have a panels at those centers. Also at the group level, to improve outreach, we want to encourage them to get involved on their local H&I committees. In regards to the queer virtual jams, we thought maybe possibly developing guidelines on how to put together a virtual meeting or a speaker jam, like a to-do kit that can be shared with areas or regions in different areas. Get the word out by posting online or in LGBTQ plus centers. Possibly create a central website that we can use to advertise the events and meetings and have them linked to one another so we can collaborate with different areas. And then for our third idea, possibly have a service learning day, involve education or have education regarding how what's perceived as an outside issue as an internal issue, maybe creating IPs that address trans person issues that we can hand out during a learning day event, possibly write local developed resources that could not be sold. And then of course, adding pronouns to your names in Zoom would be one way of, you know, getting the word out on how to use proper pronouns. And that's what we came up with.
Okay, that's awesome. By the way, I haven't been showing hands and congratulating everyone for their groups. That these are really great. Thank you, everyone. Last one is Scott. What do you got? Scott and Lark.
I'm going to have Lark share her screen and let her do the reading for us.
So in our room, a few of the opportunities we identified in our breakout room is youth is a missed opportunity. Having resources and using resources using their language and their interests. Updating the young people in NA.IP to have those language and interests, focusing more H&I PR efforts on youth facilities such as detention centers, high schools, alternative schools, social media presence. Someone jokingly suggested TikToks, having NA TikToks on there, but I put it on there. So NA TikToks, and we also had ads on dating platforms as well. And then also engaging and educating parents and guardians of the youth. The other one that we picked was to encourage LGBTQ plus community specific topics. One of the ways that we could do that is to start more topic meetings. We can post questions on meeting flyers and incorporating a Serenity Keeper to educate about offensive and preferred language and ensuring a safe space. And to expand on that just a little bit, having, if somebody uses an offensive term or some kind of offensive language, have that Serenity Keeper be able to pull that person aside who's like, hey, you know, that language isn't really what's recommended. Here are different things that you could say. And then also having LGBTQ plus main speakers at conventions, and not just having like, you know, the LGBT rap at 9 o'clock in the morning, you know, having it be one of the main speakers. And then also we had time to have 3, because these were all tied together as far as votes go, and to be more present at events such as tabling. So having a booth at Pride, hosting NA parties, finding a way for PR subcommittees to educate and interact, and then also more representation, more LGBTQIA representation within those subcommittees. And someone pointed out that their area didn't have a PR subcommittee, so then we added to have the areas support each other in those PR efforts to work together for education and presentation.
Okay, thank you, Lark. Boy, I mean, more great ideas.